All right, everyone. So the story of the weekend, the story going into this week is the return of Brock Lesnar. Now, obviously, this was, you watch the audience reaction in real time. They were going crazy, right? They were going absolutely nuts for his return. But that didn't, tell the whole story in the sense of you go online, there's people saying one thing, people saying the other. So I thought this was interesting that Elite Rockers tweeted out this, and he's kind of giving us a little bit of an update on maybe what the reaction to it actually is, because it's really tough. Even nowadays when we have all this access to social media, all these news websites, all these different things on Peacock and all that, right, when they're doing their live stream, you have so many different ways to find things out, and it's almost like we have so much information, it's tough to actually find out what's really going on. So this is the tweet. Brock Lesnar's return at SummerSlam last night has way more likes than dislikes on WWE's YouTube channel. It has, and this was on August 4th at 3:04 p.m. Just to give you, when this screenshot was taken. Likes are 87,000, dislikes 6.7 thousand. The reaction on YouTube and Instagram is completely different from the one on Twitter. So I just think this is important to point out, right? Because we've heard a lot of things, and it's, look, the crowd reaction at first was phenomenal, and it's kind of tough even listening like to the throughout the entire show. It was a little bit tough to always get perfect sound. Like some of the matches, you heard like it really loud, and then some but halfway through it wasn't as loud. So it was kind of weird to get the whole audio situation, anyways. But I think this is pretty clear, at least from YouTube, right? How people feel about the return of Brock Lesnar. And I do think it's important to point out that, and we talked about this from Dave Meltzer's report, that there's no way he was coming back unless he was cleared. And according to Dave Meltzer, that was 4 weeks ago, he was officially cleared. So I think this is telling, because I do think there would be a lot of dislikes on YouTube if people weren't happy about it, because that was kind of a narrative that was getting going. And it doesn't mean there's nobody that's, there are people that were criticizing it. Don't get me wrong. I was just interested to find out, what kind of the main takeaway was. Now, on the flip side of that, I remember there was a lot of talk about the Jey Uso Royal Rumble win. And I'm pretty sure actually it was YouTube likes and dislikes. And I kind of said, look, I don't know if this is the most telling statistic, right? And I think that's the case here as well. But you pair it with the audience reaction, I think you get a pretty good look at what was going on. Because that was kind of my argument with the Jey Uso situation, where there's a lot of people on Twitter and other places saying, oh, fans aren't happy with this, fans aren't happy with this. But then you go to every stadium, across the country when Raw shows up and Jey Uso comes out, or SmackDown shows up and Jey Uso comes out, or a pay-per-view, and the crowd is going nuts. So I was just like, I don't know if online is that reaction. So this is going to be interesting, right? I can't wait to see where the story goes and to see, oh, how exactly does the fan base feel about this, and what is the story going to be, that's going to be told. Because so far, WWE, in my view, pulled a rabbit out of the hat, right? They went from this storyline with the Cena heel turn that was great, but then of course you have the Travis Scott portion and the Rock portion that are gone. So now it makes a little bit less sense how all of that came together. So you have to find a way to get them back to a baby face, which they did, and it was fine before this. But then they bring back Brock, and now Cena has this enemy that is in the WWE, someone who legitimately is like, okay, this guy could kick John Cena's ass, right? It's an intimidating figure and a perfect one for him to go against as a babyface. So we'll wait and see, as reaction kind of rolls in. But I thought this was just an interesting and telling situation here, right? And I actually probably should have read some of these comments too, but to see if there were any negative comments, which I'm sure there will be. But just remember, you know, this is one thing I try to do in this channel is, although I'm obviously reading Twitter and looking on social media, I really try to bring you guys an opinion that is kind of like, I don't want to say like, it's not that I don't want any other opinions and I don't want any disagreement. That's not what I'm saying. I just want to bring something that is not being kind of changed by what the popular narratives are on a social media platform, right? Like I want to watch the show and tell you what I think. And maybe some of those things will be wrong. You could put that in the comment section below, right? And that's how I kind of want to do it, instead of being like, okay, I feel this way, and then you read Twitter or you go down YouTube comments or something for a while, and now maybe what I initially thought, I no longer believe because it's just, I'm like, well, I can't be the only one who thinks this, right? So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.